Chris, I hear we have another big week in the Ohio tech scene. So I always look forward to catching up every week here to hear what went on.
Yeah, well, let's hop in. And I know we have 3 stories again. We'll try to keep it to under 7 minutes. So that's always the goal. But the first one is, and this is, I think, cool for people looking to get into tech as a professional, but then also businesses that are looking to hire and figure out where in-demand jobs are and what are some of these skills that businesses need. And so the state of Ohio, Lieutenant Governor John Husted leading this, they unveiled a new redesign of OhioMeansJobs.com. And so this is basically a one-stop shop website that allows Ohioans looking for jobs, businesses looking to hire Ohioans for jobs, navigate and search for not just employment opportunities, but show you the trends of what businesses are looking for. And a lot of it these days is around technology.
And have you queried the database? Have you visited it, checked out any of the jobs on there?
Yeah, it's really cool. And so it'll even aggregate like there's these many jobs available at this average salary. So you can really break it down, and it's incredibly user friendly. So if you think of what government websites will look like, this does not look like one, and it's really impressive. So OhioMeansJobs.com is it, and I would recommend anyone, whether you're in business or looking for careers or just interested, because whether you have kids that are going to school or just care about Ohio, like this is a really cool resource. It's almost like a live real-time tracker to see what is happening out there when it comes to employment and workforce.
Right, and the ability to aggregate data these days, because I recall visiting sites such as this years ago, they always felt a little random and a little not so helpful. It was more or less a great effort, but it wasn't meaningful, especially if you're looking for, careers in more technical fields, right? But this sounds like it's, I've been impressed by the state and kind of how the willingness they are to put investment behind real impactful data and approaches to get things done. So this sounds like a cool thing. I'm going to check it out.
Yeah.
Cool. Number 2, another statewide story we're not funded by the state, are we?
No, we're not funded by the state.
Okay. 2 organizations here in Northeast Ohio cleaned up on the Ohio Third Frontier's funding round. So Third Frontier has been around for quite some time. But Jumpstart and North Coast Ventures, both out of Northeast Ohio, are sharing in $72.7 million in funding through Third Frontier. And that will allow them to make seed level stage loans to tech companies specifically that are in the very, very early stages of their startup. So good to see more dry powder put into these 2 organizations that have a channel and have contacts to actually facilitate more entrepreneurs, and especially in the world of technology.
Yeah, and this is actually something that happened all across the state with different groups that have a relationship with Ohio Third Frontier, getting some of this. And another big announcement, so I guess this is story 2.5, but I can't leave out the Columbus Central Ohio connection, is Rev1 Ventures, which is the jumpstart of Central Ohio or vice versa. And Ohio State have announced that they're putting in, I believe it's $10 million, and we'll link the story and the exact details in the comments for a pre-seed stage fund, which is really incredible. And Ohio State is just, for someone that lives in Columbus, and they have an impact obviously statewide, but to see what they routinely do and lead on some of this, it's just really incredible.
Well, there you go, because I completely had my Northeast Ohio blinders on, and I didn't know that I didn't read deeply enough, I got this from the Cleveland Business Journal, and obviously they had a Northeast Ohio spin on it. So good to see that this is a statewide initiative, and I'm glad we're catching up, because now I know that once again this is fully leveraged.
For sure. Yeah. Well, you want to hop to story 3?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So this one is actually a Swedish startup, but there is a big time Ohio connection. So Swedish startup, the company's named Klarna, is valued at $31 billion after its U.S. growth, really, as the article from Reuters says, stoked investors. And so this is a payments firm, so FinTech. It has its U.S.-based headquarters in Columbus. And so they've nearly tripled their valuation to $31 billion in less than 6 months, secured a $1 billion fundraising round. And so this is massive for a lot of reasons. But it's also part of a bigger trend, which I love following. And there's another article from Fast Company that we're going to post below about the role Ohio has in becoming a destination for second headquarters, HQ2s, for companies like this one, a Swedish company based in Europe. And they decided to come to Columbus. And there's a couple other examples, but we're seeing it over and over where second headquarters, big operation hubs are being placed in Ohio, cities like Columbus. And I think that's a real incredible trend that I have loved following, but I don't think, I think the story is just beginning to be told.
No, I agree. I mean, bring it on, right? So that HQ2 strategy, and it sounds like you don't have to give away the farm anymore, because I know when Amazon was doing their HQ2 shopping trip, the incentives that the cities and the metropolitan areas were putting up were, they would actually choke off revenue, important revenue.
At some point, for like, some of these cities were just like, they threw their hands up. They can't eat, and it's at some level, it's not worth it. But for this, it's workforce. It's the fact that people can have a great work-life balance. It's being in the Eastern time zone, so you can talk with people on the West Coast. You can talk with people in Europe in the same business day. So it's so cool to see it, and I think we're just starting to, we're at the beginning of this type of story, and it is absolutely incredible and so cool to see.
Good. It just takes one. I mean, what's interesting, going back, thinking of Columbus, thinking of HQ2, thinking of startups, thinking of exits, something that relates to story too, when we're talking about North Coast Ventures, we've covered this before, but having people and individuals that have exited that can basically really pop up this entrepreneurial ecosystem, even better, probably perhaps supercharge. The state funding is great, but it's better when it's coming from someone that's exited, who's been there, done that. Was that fair to say?
100%. Yeah. So angel investors that have been through it. And so whether it's like Root Insurance in Columbus, they IPO'd, or a Bold Penguin, which was acquired, I would assume a startup that is worth $31 billion will have its IPO at some date. And when that happens, that creates a whole class of people that, hopefully, knock on wood, made a lot of money, and hopefully that's spread out to a bunch of Ohioans. And that
invest in their community
is the flywheel that keeps on moving.
Right. Well, those are three really interesting stories. By the way, everyone's still mad at Oshkosh. So letters are being filed. They're going after the Postal Service to get Workhorse back into the mix. So we'll keep following that, but nothing new. Other than there was a cool article about LG Chem and Tesla. And so Lordstown was mentioned in an article next to Tesla. And that's it. It was a Reuters article. And that's about all we got. But I thought that was just an interesting thing to cover. So I think, and I have hang on one second. I had a visitor, but hey, that's what happens when you work in an office. So, so yeah, we're going to wrap it up this week, but another interesting week. Anyone has questions, comments, story ideas, people you want us to talk to, put them in below. And I did forget to mention, we're looking to improve the production quality of this show. So if you would care to underwrite this show, please let us know, because you'll have great, brand integration opportunities, really helping support the Ohio tech scene. So anyone interested in that, hit us up.
Sounds great. Well, Jeff, it was great catching up. We will talk next week, but have a good weekend.
Sounds good. See you, Chris.